Hello there, I'm Thomas, the pilot flying the Boeing 777-300 ERX in tonight's flight of PMDG simulations. So we're gonna be flying from Zurich International Airport and overflying Switzerland and Germany, and then back Switzerland and Zurich International Airport runway 14. We're gonna be flying at flight level 35,000 feet, flight level 250 with Mach 0.78 or higher. Like maybe if we fly higher levels, like to flight level 290, we're gonna be flying with Mach 0.86. So right now I'm in the cockpit of the Boeing 777-300 ERX, and I'm gonna be showing you the cockpit instruments, how to use the aircraft systems, like the primary flight display that displays the airspeed and the barometric altitude level, the flight mode annunciator with the autopilot commands and the auto thrust command, the horizontal situation indicator, the magnetic strip heading compass, and also the navigation display with the GPS map and the airports, the nav aids, the waypoints, and the horizontal situation of the aircraft, like the flight plan and how to follow the flight path, and the vertical and the horizontal flight path, and also the other aircraft, the traffic alert collision system. Displays other aircraft in the navigation display. I'm going to show you the ACAS, the upper ACAS and lower ACAS system that displays the engine indication, the system, and also other systems besides the engines, like the compressor from the engine from the APU, the air system, the CS system, the hydraulic system, the hydraulic tank, and the hydraulic fluid that's been used to move the flight control, the landing gear and the nose wheel, and also for the parking brakes and the thrust reverse in the engine. I'm also going to be showing you the electrical, the alternate and the direct to the electrical pages, and also other systems like the cabin pressurization, the APU, maybe the checklist. We have an electronic checklist that is made to aid the pilot in the flight, and also has some QRAs, quick reference handbook in this computer display. So we also have the flight management computer. We have the overhead panel with the fuel pump system, the hydraulic system, the electrical system, the left and right engine electrical. I did see the three drive generators. I'm going to show you how to use every switch in the overhead panel. As I said, the hydraulic left and right engine hydraulic pumps, and the C1 and C2 electrical standby pumps, and also the electrical panel, as I said, the AC alternate current, the APU, left and right engine integrated drive generator, AC current, and the batteries, 38 volts and about 40 hours batteries. We have like two of them. And also I'm going to be showing you the RDI system, the cabin pressurization system, the engine start system. We have an automatic engine start, electric engine controller, the FADEX, one installed in each engine. We also have in the overhead panel we have the air system for the cabin pressurization, and supplied from the engine for the APU. And we use the APU. I'm going to show you how to start the auxiliary power unit, the APU, for starting the engine in the ground. And I'm also going to be showing you other systems like the thrust levers, how to use to increase the engine thrust, how to control the thrust of the aircraft, and also how to use the auto thrust, the auto thrust connect button, the auto thrust disconnect button, the thrust reverse. I'm going to show you the flaps reverse, the stabilizer trim, the speed brake lever, the communication panel and navigation panel, the air data inertial reference system unit, the ADIR. So we have quite many systems to show you for this aircraft. So I'm gonna start with the flight control. It's control column and control yoke. We use to control the elevator and the spoilers in the wings, and for the stabilizer elevator and also we use the rudder pedals for the rudder. I'm gonna show you also the stabilizer trim. We're using the yoke. We have a button for pitching up and pitching down. And over the aircraft, and also for stabilizing the aircraft in flight automatically or manually. So let me start right now with the flight controls. So I'm gonna show you here. You can see we have the cockpit of the aircraft. You can see we have the control column and control yoke. So I'm gonna show you now how to use this to control the aircraft. I'm gonna show you now we use this side stick that's from the Airbus, but also good for the Boeing. So I'm using this to pitch up and pitch down the aircraft, and also bung roll the aircraft in flight. So you can see pitch up, pitch down the elevator. You can see the control wheel moving up and down, and also the bung roll, the ailerons and the spoilers. So hope you can see it. Pitch up, pitch down, pitching up, pitching down, bung roll left and right. You use this and also the rudder pedals left and right, and we have the pitching up, pitching down arm, a stabilizer trim button. We have the flaps. We have the thrust levers here, so you can use this side stick as a control column and control yoke. Besides in the Airbus, also in the Boeing. So you can see we have a proportional movement here, and also I can show you here in this you see the flight controls displays, so we can so you can see the flight control synoptics here. If we move on the control wheel and the control column up and down, as you see, you can see here this displays the flight controls. You can see the trademark of the aircraft here. So you see the flight controls moving, the ailerons, the spoilers, left and right wing, and also the elevator, the tail up and down, and the rudder pedals. And we have the stabilizer trim at 4 degrees up, the rudder trim at 0. You can see flight controls mode is normal fly-by-wire. So I will also show you outside here. Maybe you can see some. We can extend this. I will use the flaps that pull down. Also part of the flight controls is this. Forgot to mention, this is the stabilizer trim and the speed brake lever. This is for slowing down the aircraft. This is the stabilizer trim that balances the aircraft in flight. And we also have stabilizer trim here, manual, in this control wheel. Here we have the autopilot disconnect button. So we have also the aileron trim here. We have the rudder trim here. You can see the position. So you can see here is 4 degrees up. As you can see, nose up, as it says here in this display, 435. So I'm gonna show you now. We have the flaps down at 30 degrees. We can move them up and down with this lever. So let's see an outside view now. You can see the secondary and the primary flight controls. The control the aircraft trajectory around the lateral, the horizontal, longitudinal actually, the lateral and the vertical axis. So you can see this movement here. So if I move up and down this control stick, also move up and down. pitching up while rolling the aircraft, and also the rudder. So this is so much for the flight controls tonight. I'm gonna move on with the rest of the aircraft systems now. You can see the input here, also the rudder and the elevator. Yeah. So maybe I'm gonna move with the rest of the flight now. Maybe start the engines. It's already started, but I'm gonna stop them and then start again. So first we need to start the APU here, the overhead panel. You can see here we have the electrical panel, the hydraulics, as I said another time, the fuel pumps, the fuel jet is on, the electronic engine start. Here's the pressurization panel with the pressurized air from the engines and the APU and the cabin pressurization system, the ADIs, some other systems. So I'm gonna start with the, you can see here we have these guarded switches here, should remain guarded. It's the IDG disconnect button. It's the left and the right engine. So we start the APU here. You can see also on this side with a better view. So you can see we have the electrical here. The APU should be on start here. So you show here a message. You can see the rest of the displays. You can see here we have the ADIRU Air Data Inertial Reference System unit that displays the GPS map here data, and also the barometric, the anemometric altitude, the airspeed, other data like the angle of attack of the aircraft and gyroscopic acceleration and deceleration. So here we have the hydraulic, left engine and right engine pumps. You can see we have them. We can turn them off and on, then back on. This is the hydraulic, this is the engine, electrical, left and right engine, the backup generator, left and right, the APU generator is on now. We have the left and right bus tie switches. This primary flight computer should be on. The thrust asymmetry in the auto. This is almost the passenger oxygen, the window heat, ram air turbine for the case we have lost the hydraulic and the electrical pump. So here's the cargo fire here system, engine electrical mode. Here we have two computers, one for its engine, one FADEC for its engine with a normal and alternate mode. The auto start is on. We're gonna use the switch to start the engine. Here we want to dump fuel in flight. We can arm or disarm this. You can see the auto start is on and off. For the engine. Here's the fuel cross speed. You can turn on the cross speed. Pumps. You can turn off the pumps here. The primary will be off. We have the sender in a fall mode because there is no fuel in the sender pumps right now. We have the LBIs in the automatic. Here's the lighting system of the aircraft. Here we have the cabin pressurization. We can turn off in the manual mode. We have two controllers. Have pretty much like another 1 hour for this flight, so we have to be a little bit faster. So we use these controllers here to pressurize and depressurize the aircraft. In case we use the manual mode. You can see displayed here the duct pressure from the engine. So we increase the thrust from the engine, we increase the duct pressure also. Besides increasing the N1 and the N2, because the duct pressure is from the bleeds of the engine. And now you can see the fuel level, total kilograms. You see the trademark here of the aircraft. So we're gonna use automatic pressurization here, the landing altitude automatic, and here is the left and the right engine pressurization system. You can turn it on and off. We have the APU also in the auto. We're gonna use it for starting the engines. The left and the right packs should be off for starting the engine. We're gonna leave them in the auto, as well as the bleeder isolation bars. This is important for starting the engines, as well as the fuel panel and the engine starter and the electrical from the batteries from the APU. So we're gonna turn off the engines in a while. Hope you have a nice view here. You can see also the autopilot system here, autopilot flight director system. You can increase the airspeed, for instance. So you have here's the auto thrust arm and disarm. The flight director should be on and off, the autopilot arm, and you can disengage. The warning is enabled. So we have like this the airspeed here. We can hold the airspeed with the press. You can select the runway heading here. I'm gonna try to be more brief, and also the bang automatic or manual. We can depress the switch, use the hold, we use the flight level change. It's also the vertical speed here, the rate of climb or descent, and we can disarm this also. So this is for the autopilot panel. We're gonna use a higher altitude also. Just after takeoff. So we're gonna have this displayed here on this display. So you can see here we have the thrust levers again. If we increase the thrust levers, we're gonna have higher pressure, and the N1, which is the low speed low pressure stages of the engine, of the turbofan engine, the exhaust gas temperature. Here we have the N2. I'm gonna show you now. I'm gonna change in the mode here, the display. So we have other modes also. Cannot reach it, so I'm going in this view now. So you can see we also have this communication panel. Here is the parking brake. You can disarm the parking brake. Here is the stabilizer, trim cutout switches. Should be in the normal, the left and the right system. Here is the fuel control cutout switches. Should be in the run. the flap lever position, as you can see. So this is a nice view of the Boeing 777-300 ERX. So I'm gonna try and start the engines now. So we're going back into the virtual cockpit. Everything, the overhead panel is ready now. We have the APU running. So we have about about 55 minutes for this flight, pretty much. So we should be a little bit faster. So you can see here we have, as I said, I have set the airspeed here from the autopilot flight director system, the altitude and the heading. So you can see here we have selected in the primary flight display, we have the airspeed displayed, the airspeed selected 255 knots. The actual airspeed is 0, but the minimum displayed is 30. The radio altitude -2, 1430 feet above sea level, with barometric pressure 29.8 inches, hydraulics, and 137. You can see the heading here selected in the magnetic current through compass. So you can see the pitch ladder here in degrees for the pitching up and down the aircraft, the flight director, and the modes here for the autopilot and the autothrust, and also the altitude, 35,000 feet after takeoff. So you can see here we have the terrain, the GPS map with the navigation and the radar display of the terrain, 6,100 feet and 0 feet with red and green, and yellow intermediate. You can see other airports in front of us. Quite a lot of diesel right now, like 160, 120 knots per mile. So I'm gonna show you the modes. Here is the EFIS, electronic flight instrument system. So you can see here we have displayed now the electrical, the APU is running. We have the left and the right generator from the engines, left and right XFR, the main and secondary on the pass ties. So we have the main battery volt speed 7 and amps for amps charging the APU battery here. Also we have the hydraulics here. We have the primary, the left and the right engine, and the electrical backup, C1, C2, and the engine backup. So you can see the quantity of the hydraulic fluid, the PSI, 3000 PSI per system right now. We have some isolation valves. You can see the consumers of the fluid, of hydraulic fluid is the flaps, the flight controls, the main gear and steering, the alternate reserve and brake, nose gear and steering, flight controls, normal braking, and reverse thrust. So we have also the fuel. Let's see, first we have the doors here. So you can see the doors is closed, so we can pressurize the cabin after takeoff. The gear, we can see the pressure in the tires. We have the fuels here, left and the right wing tank of the aircraft. You can see the quantity of the fuel and the pumps working forward enough, and the APU also taking some fuel. The center tank is off. We have 47,200 kilograms, 47,000 kilograms, and the crossfeeds are closed or not. So we come over here again. We have the air system. So we can see the pressurized air from the left and the right engine. We have the stages, the high pressure here and the low pressure, the IP, the intermediate pressure and high pressure. The APU also supplying pressurizer for starting the engines, and to the packs for pressurizing the cabin, and also for air conditioning and for the hydraulic fluid tanks pressurization. You can see the engines here, the left and the right engine, and the bleed of the air, the pressurizer. You can see the duct pressure right now is 35 psi, because I have the engines are idle. So if I increase the engine thrust, you will see the duct pressure is increasing to 40 psi and even higher. So I can show you here with the engine. We also have a few other things. We have this switch is the auto thrust disconnect button. You can disconnect the auto thrust. Here we have the thrust reversers. We use this to reverse the thrust. Use this blocker though, and we slow down the aircraft after landing or in reject takeoff. So you can see them retracting or deploying again. So we go inside again. You can see the reverse gear engaging. We have reverse in both engines, 1 and 2. So we have to be a little bit faster. We have like 30 plus 18 minutes for this flight. 48 minutes. So we have to turn off the engines now. So we also have the flight controls, as I told you. And this is most of the synoptics. We have the modes. We have checklist here. We have the normal menu. We have the pre-flight. What to do before the flight here. We will use the mouse to control this display. Before start, MCP V2 handling task, the pre-flight trim, taxi and takeoff briefing is complete, as you can see. Checklist complete. All the items. Now we have the before start the engine. This is the normal menu. Before taxi, before takeoff, we have the non-normal menu. We have some faults here, for instance. So APU and emergency equipment, for instance. Non-normal menu. Automatic flight. Here we have the autopilot. The pilot disconnect, the throttle disconnect, no auto land, no land. Autopilot, all autopilots are disconnected. Auto throttle left. No auto land. So this is some of the menu here. That's interesting and also very useful for this flight, for this aircraft. So I'm gonna show you now how to start the engine. I'll go back into the engine display here. We have also the N2, which is the high pressure, high rotor stage of the engine, the fuel flow, 1000 kilograms per inch per hour, the oil pressure, oil temperature, oil quantity, and the vibration in its engine. So we're gonna turn off both engines now. Just to show you how to start them. So you're gonna see here the reconfiguration now. You can see the engine thrust is decreasing rapidly. So you will see we have left and right engine off. And then slowing down. So we wait like a few seconds. Both engines now are off. So we go back inside. You can see no spinning. So you can see here it's also off. There's no display of nothing. Indication, so we have to be more fast for this. Come over here. You can see the overhead panel, the configuration. all we need to do is that this switch here, start the automatic left engine start. So we're gonna see the pressurizer from the APU is going to be supplied immediately to the air starter engine. Air starter, and when the N2 exceeds 20%, we can increase the fuel flow. We can start the fuel levels to run. So you can see the left engine is running now. The start process. So we have like 20 and 20, pretty much like 40 more minutes for this flight. So we have to be more fast. You can see here. So we're gonna start the left engine first. So you will see here we have the engine shut down, but also the engine start now. We're gonna see the indications here increase. So we have the spinning here of the engine. The engine start. So we go now into the other side engine. You can see this engine off, this engine start. Here we have this side engine now. It's off. We go over here on this side and start the right engine now automatically. So we have the same configuration again, the engine starter, compressor from the APU. When N2 reaches 20% or higher, we have fuel flow now 0 for the right engine. For the left engine is normal. So you can see we have started spinning in the right engine. We have to wait until the 20% and 2, so we can start the fuel cutoff lever. So we'll see now an engine start spinning. You can see here the spinning increase. Now it's full. We have full engine spinning and temperature, so we can now go to takeoff. You only need to set up the flaps here to about 15 degrees. Position down, I think. The stabilizer trim is normal. We only need to set up the flight plan very quickly. So we have the synoptics. We go in the menu. Let them see. You can see the model 777 Boeing 777-300. Position initialized. Lszh. The reference airport. You can see the GPS position, and we have the route from Lszh to Lszh, runway 14. Initial reference, gross weight, the fuel on board, 0 fuel, and the gross weight with fuel on board. We have the flight level 35,000 feet, cost index 100, and the reserves is 5%. So we can use departure Lszh trans this and also the arrival Lszh Transnegria 1 Alpha Transamity. So the legs are ready. We have a complete flight plan. I'm gonna fly over this. So we press the activate and execute. We have here the thrust limit, flaps 15 degrees, center of gravity 36% with trim 4 degrees, takeoff performance. We have also V1, index 100 minus 37 degrees. We have the V speeds 133, 140 and 154 is the takeoff speed, takeoff gross weight, and the V speeds are on. So you can see here we have the flight plan. Everything is set in this primary flight display. The ILS, we have the airspeed, the V speed, the flight director, the altitude. So we're ready for takeoff now. Just need a taxi into the runway. You see we have the Boeing 777 here. So we have like 30 more minutes for this flight. We have to be a little bit faster. Yeah. So increase the thrust a little bit and use this tiller and disarm the parking brakes and use this tiller here to steer the aircraft. This switch. You can see we have no traffic here due to the runway. So we have another less than 30 minutes, I believe. So we have to be a little bit fast, align with the runway. Our parking brake set. You're in a very nice position for takeoff actually. So you can see, as I said, we have the autopilot panel set. We have the ILS here with the V speeds, the radio altitude, the flight director on all the modes. So if I increase the thrust, or if I press the takeoff ground button, so you will see the thrust here increase. When you stabilize to about 6% with the parking brake. So you can see also here we have the sea display, the Mediterranean Sea. So we disarm the parking brake and go over here. Just increase even further the thrust lever here. So we have about 30 minutes for this flight left. 90 knots. We have V1, V rotate, and V2. Here we go. We have positive rate retract the landing gear. So let's see, here we have we're just 1,100 feet above the ground level. You can see also the rate of climb here, 4,000 feet per minute. We're gonna turn a little bit. Just having better display now. With the radar here, just decrease the rate of climb. with just 4,000 feet. We have 170 knots airspeed. Here's the flight plan that I was telling you we're gonna follow. Here's the terrain in front of us with the yellow and red, and green is below. So we have to avoid this terrain. So here's again, closer look. This is the radar display. So we have about, we have 30 minutes left for this flight, so it's okay. It's pretty much enough time for us. You can see we use the speed stream here, 200 knots. We're gonna retract some flaps, maybe one more knot. You can see the flap position here displayed, because we're gonna increase the airspeed like that, losing some rate of climb, getting some airspeed. So you can see here we have the altitude hold, the amount you have to use. So now we fly direct to the next waypoint. Setting some time like that. We use the L knob. We can connect the autopilot if we want. And now so this is our Boeing 777-300ER X, Boeing 777-300ER. Would you like this view? So it's a nice view of the Switzerland. You can see the lake here. We're gonna fly over. So we come back here again. You can see how we climbed. We passed 16,000 feet. We have a few more minutes left for this flight, like 10 plus 15, I believe, 15 rating. You can see the engine thrust here right now. We use manual thrust, 95% and 104.5 and 2. You can see the position here, maximum takeoff ground thrust. For maximum glide and maximum thrust for maximum speed. You will see here this is the altitude tape, this is the rate of climb tape, 2,300, 700, 3,000 feet per minute right now. So this is the stall speed. We have to avoid this because it's gonna stall the aircraft and we're gonna lose some altitude. and airspeed. So we don't want to do that. So here's the airspeed in Mach. So this is a warning here, the yellow, and then after the red we go into stall. We have to level off a little bit here, increase the airspeed, take some attention as we climb. We have another nice view here, past 22,000 feet. Going across the lake again. Here we have the chemtrails and contrails now. As you can see here we have the chemtrail. We passed 33,000 feet. Now we reach our altitude. I'll go back into the cockpit. I'm gonna have the altitude display now. We have a few more minutes for flying. Oh, we have pretty much like a few more minutes. 7 plus 15. So maybe we're gonna overfly Germany. We have an aircraft in front of us. We're trying to balance now. We track the flaps fully. And having a distraction from the flaps. We're just trying to hold level now. So this is the aircraft in front of us. You can also see it here. In this display over here is this aircraft in the radar. It's coming closer. You can see how high above us it is. If I come this closer, maybe you'll see it better. And the radar is working again. We pass through on the aircraft. Maybe fly a little bit higher, more max speed, flying like 36,000 feet, and then coming back to 35,000. Trying to hold level now, 36,000 feet, Mach 0.73. Gonna show you, gonna overfly Germany now. When we come back down into the 35,000 feet, decrease some airspeed maybe. This will be more airspeed. So we overfly now from 37,000 feet. quite high. We overflying Germany, as you can see. And we have like 30 more minutes for this flight. You can see Bavaria here. Now we're going back to 36,000. You can see the chemtrails now. Up here. And the Galaxy. So this is our spacecraft for tonight, the Boeing 777-300 ERS. Going back to 35,000 feet and coming back into the Switzerland. Had a lot of flights overflying Germany. You can see Munich in front of us. In Bavaria region, we're flying manually. So we need to go back into the airport. Maybe. The Lszh, flying straight using this line here, leveling off. Keep flying manually. You can see the flight director symbol. I'm gonna connect the autopilot later just for display, so you will see how it is with the autopilot system. So we have here maybe the sender display. How we level off and where we going now. Back into the airport. You can see the 360 degrees mode here. Let's see the star sign outside. So we have 15 more minutes for this flight, pretty much. Need to be fast. So now we overflying Germany, as you can see. This is Bavaria and Bayern, Munich, the Munich region. So this is our spacecraft for tonight. We just hope you enjoy the star sign from satellite level 34,500 right now. Need to climb a little bit higher. And overflying Munich, as I said. So I'm coming back this side. Hope you do like this video also. Now we need to use the altitude. So we're gonna hold the altitude. Now we're gonna hold the altitude right. So use the sender, this display again, a bit closer. Now we're going back into the Switzerland, as you can see. We're trying to level up here at 35,000 feet. So here we are. You can see the modes, the speed, the LNAV, the altitude, and the terrain map. So we're gonna come a little bit faster for this landing. So maybe I'm gonna connect the autopilot now just for display. So we're going now. Oh, we level off. We level off manually. Cool. You can see the fuel and balance and weight of the aircraft. Balance and weight system. The fly-by-wire tries to level off the aircraft even with flying manually. Completely manual. Completely manually right now. So maybe I will connect the autopilot just for display so you will see how to use the autopilot. Use the autopilot connect button. We press it up. We press the flight level here, 35,000. We have the LNAV and the VNAV. The autopilot is gonna hold us. We're gonna have to start descending a while. We're just 57 nautical miles away from our airport. And we have pretty much like 15 more minutes left for this flight, so we have to be very, very fast, very accurate. So we overflying the lake again. 15 more minutes left. Maybe a little bit more, maybe like a bit more time. You see we overflying Switzerland now. We're back into Switzerland. Back home from Zurich. Going back to Zurich. With the Boeing 777 here. 35,000 feet. Hope you have a better view of the aircraft. How beautiful the Boeing 777 is. So you can see the lake again. We're flying the lake region. We have the galaxy and the star sign. So we go again inside. We're gonna start descent now. We're very close into the airport. You can see we hold level with the autopilot here. Let's see the AP connected, autopilot connect. So we're gonna start. First decrease the airspeed here a little bit. And then decrease the altitude. And press the altitude shift to flight level. So this is it, we start descent automatically. You can see here the needle, minus 700, minus 800, 600, 11 yards again. Need to slow down a little bit. Slow down a little bit further. We're gonna use also this the vertical speed. Minus 3,000 feet per minute. So you can see the autopilot is reconnected. We're descending minus 3,000. This airspeed. We have like 15 minutes more left. Maybe less. So we have to be fast and accurate. Pretty much 15 more minutes. So it's 34 nautical miles away. 33,000 feet. Keep descending. You can see here we have the handrails, the front rails. We're gonna use a shortcut for this landing, just to land faster, because we have like 14 more minutes for this flight. You can see the distance from this waypoint to 88.6. Descend a little bit faster. You can see the Mach speed 0.6. So we just quite 10 more minutes, maybe left. 10 minutes, 13 maybe, 12 or 13 minutes left. So we have the radar again displayed here, 14,000 feet. Keep descending, as you can see. So we have a beautiful view now out of the Switzerland, the Swiss Alps. We're going home now. Very. So one less factor maybe here. We need to set up only this, the landing speed. You can see the waypoints we're gonna be flying. Select landing speed with flaps. I think this is good, 35 with 151 knots plus 5 for deviation. So maybe we have to slow down a little bit. We have like less than 10 minutes left. Now we turn into we need to use the Vorlock also on the landing gear if we want to slow down. So we pass 8,000 feet now. Use the landing gear here to slow us down. And slow down the airspeed a little. Hopefully we're gonna use this shortcut for landing. Just 6,000 feet. Use some flaps over here. We have the river. We're in a good direction. We have maybe 5 minutes left. Here's the runway. You will see outside. Here we have the landing gear extend. You see we're going for landing. Doesn't need to align with the runway only. We are in a very good position right now for landing. Maybe use less flaps, more airspeed. So here we are very aligned, very nice alignment with the runway. You can see we have the Lszh here, the Lszh localizer heading and the vertical glide slope. We just need to descend. We have also the vertical path deviation, flight director on all the modes, the runway here, the airport, the barometric altitude above the sea level and the altitude above the terrain, 1,800 feet. You can see here now we are in alignment with the runway. This is our stall speed, we need to avoid, so we need to just hold a little bit higher the rate of descent. Use a little bit more airspeed. Use a little bit more alignment. Maybe we are lucky ones about the video time. Hopefully we're gonna make it. We have like oh yeah, we have a few more minutes left. Maybe 5 minutes more left for this video. So we are very lucky if we are make it like that with the Lszh localizer here. As you can see, the vertical glide slope, the altitude above the ground, the airport. Everything is set up very nicely. You can see how hold the stick here, the column. Add some thrust from the thrust levers and align. You can see how low we are. Maybe 4 minutes more left. Hopefully we're gonna make it into the runway for a beautiful landing. Here we are, just above the runway. Here we are, just touch it down. Very beautiful touchdown into the runway. Parking brakes and reverse thrust. Here we are. We just align now perfectly with the runway, as you can see. We slow down. This is beautiful, beautiful landing here. In the maybe I didn't record the flare, but it's okay. Missed the flare, but we did a nice landing, very smooth. You can see where we are located here in the runway 14. So we have these 2 warnings here for the autopilot. Disconnect. And come here. There's a few more lights here. Landing lights forgot to use. You can see here we have the reverse thrust and gauge. So it's displayed here the reverse thrust, maximum reverse. You can see we are in the runway here, runway position. You can see the Lszh here, the needle and the green symbol of the runway, and the radio altitude above the ground -2 feet. The airspeed now 0. Barometric altitude above sea level 1,400 feet. The airspeed and the altitude set for when the flight director is on for another takeoff go round for a missed approach. So you may see here we have the nose wheel is normal, and the tires, the nose wheel and the landing gear as you can see. There's no breakage or damage from the landing gear wheels or the nose wing. So we can steer the aircraft in the ground. And we have a very beautiful smooth landing for the nose wing, as you can see. You can see the wings of the aircraft, the Boeing 777. Nice street view here. You can see the reverse thrust. So if I'm gonna show you inside in the system, you're gonna see here in the synoptics menu. You can see the engines are normal, there's no damage into the engine. So I'm also going to be showing you very fast. The gear here is normal. You can see there is no damage in the landing gear. The tires are normal, there's no blow or overheat tire or brakes. You can see the brakes temperature. You can see the electrical, it's normal. There is no problem of the flight and landing. The hydraulics normal, no leakage. The fuel normal, no leakage. Gear system normal, no leakage from the engine. The flight control is normal. We have full flight control. So the doors are also closed. There is no open door in the landing. I'm going back to the mode. You can see the status here is normal of the aircraft. The APU is running and the hydraulic and the oxygen. So we have the engines here is normal, all indicated. So this was the flight for the Boeing 777 300 ERX, as you can see. We also have the checklist here. We have some messages here. Some reconfiguration, fuel pumps under right, brake temperature is higher, auto throttle left, travel, auto control free. So we have the normal menu, the reset, and the non-normal. So you can see here. Hopefully, so that was Thomas the pilot flying the Boeing 777-300 ERX into night flight from Zurich International Airport back to Zurich International Airport. We just landed. Thank you for watching my video. So I'm gonna see you in another flight, maybe tomorrow, another Boeing or Airbus aircraft, maybe it's a fighter jet like I should call in a staging. So thank you very much for watching me. Bye bye. See you next time.